Secret invasion. Woo-wee. Secret invasion. Now, let me put this up here real quick in case you have not been watching. I'm going to let y'all know right now. Spoiler alert. Okay. You see it at the very bottom right there. Yeah, right there. Spoiler alert. If you have not watched Secret Invasion, don't be coming here now. This is the time we're going to talk about it. Why we really want to talk about Secret Invasion was got people all in the hizzy. And it ain't about the Skrull kissing with the sharp teeth. It ain't about clapping them green cheeks. What we really want to talk about is the reveal that happened and whether or not Rhodey's reveal ruined his character. Because a lot of people are up in a hizzy fit. People don't know how to deal with themselves because we all sitting here trying to figure out, when did Rhodey become a Skrull? We don't know. Kevin Feige over here talking about, man, this has been done for a long time. He's been a Skrull for a minute now. What does it mean? Okay, I don't know. So let's kind of go over some of the possibilities of when Rhodey could have been a Skrull. Now, in the show, Rhodey mentioned that the Skrulls were made aware that to the government around 2010. And 2010 was around the time of Iron Man 2. Okay. Now, let me also mention here that the Skrulls have this new ability, because the previous ability that they had was, yeah, they could take your identity, but they only had recent memories of you. Okay. Or whatever memories you recently had. So they don't know long-term memories. However, now that they've been capturing people, now that they've been able to like really suck your whole memory out your brain and take it in, they can remember everybody's whole lifetime. So this brings a lot more stuff into question, right? So this Rhodey that's sitting here talking to Sam Jackson in what, episode 2, 3, or whatever, they were telling Nick Fury that like, yeah, we knew about the Skrulls back in like 2010. Okay. Now, for you and me and a lot of other people, we sat here and thought, ha, Rhodey turned into a Skrull when the whole Terrence, Howard thing happened and recast. Ha. That was the reveal.
Next time, baby.
Maybe that is when it happened. Okay. Maybe. The other clue of when Rhodey potentially was a Skrull was in Civil War. If you recall, during the big battle, you had Vision trying to attack Falcon. He dodged out the way, and then Rhodey got hurt instead. He fell to the ground, busted up his back. And when that happened, he went to the hospital to get those x-rays or whatever, those CT scans, yada, yada, yada. Now, the reason why that's important is because that was the only time that we saw Rhodey in hospital gowns or scrubs or whatever, in that hospital outfit. And when we jump to Secret Invasion, we see him still in those hospital garbs. Now, why is that important? Because if we stay consistent with what Secret Invasion showed us, everyone that got captured was still in the original clothes that they were captured in. So what ended up happening now was like, yo, if everybody had the same clothes on when they were captured and when their identities were stolen, and you see Rhodey still in his hospital attire and he can't walk, he started to walk and he could not walk, that implied very heavily that Rhodey was taken during Civil War. Now, what's the consequence of that? If it is true that Rhodey was taken during Civil War, that means that during Infinity War, that was also Skrody. That implies that during Endgame, when everyone came back, that of course Skrody or Rhodey that we thought was him, he saw Tony die, and well, there goes that. That wasn't the real Rhodey. And a lot of people have issues with that, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it. Now, here's the other counter argument. The other counter argument is in Secret Invasion, Gravik, who led this whole, revolution or whatever, he said that basically he started his crusade after Fury left. Now, I don't know if this was when he left, when he came back during Endgame, or if he left during the 5 years, after the snap. Not really sure. Doesn't really matter. But if that did happen, then some people are holding out hope that, the real Rhodey did see Tony die, right? And the real Rhodey was there the whole time. But at some point after Endgame, he was captured. I don't know. Maybe he was going for a hospital visit and was going for his annual checkup. I don't know. I've seen some people say that, like, Rhodey had the braces on in Infinity War and he was walking just fine in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Personally, I don't think that's enough evidence to prove that was, a good transition at all. Because for one, we don't know how much the braces were actually helping Rhodey during Infinity War. Keep in mind, it was a 2-year gap from Civil War when he got hurt. It was 2 years until Infinity War. Maybe Rhodey made good progress and all he needed was the brace to walk, which means maybe he just walks with a limp. We don't know. Then from 2018 all the way to 2023, then that means you got a good long gap of time for this man to potentially heal up. So I don't know. We don't know what happened during the snap. Marvel apparently won't show us what happened during the snap. We don't know. So all I'm saying is, if you're trying to use the argument that Rhodey had braces and that's an indication of when the Skrull was there, I don't think that's enough evidence to really support that claim. Okay, now with all that said, we finally got the director. The director came in and weighed in on when Rhodey actually potentially got switched up. So the director came in here and pointed the exact point when Rhodey became a Skrull, confirmed by Secret Invasion director. But it's complicated. And yes, it is complicated. He went here and said, I think that it's going to be a lot of fun for fans to unpack as they revisit all the Rhodey moments since the Captain America moment when he was in the hospital and to see how they felt about it. I don't know if I want to say it's definitive or not definitive, but I think Rhodey has been a Skrull a lot longer than we suspected. Okay, so in one interview, he's saying maybe it's a lot longer than just the Captain America Civil War situation. Maybe. We don't know. But thankfully, he did go on a little bit further in another interview where he got a little bit more definitive. He said, a lot of people have asked about definitively, when did Rhodey? I think his legs not working in the end of episode 6 and him being in the hospital gown points to Captain America Civil War. And from there, does it have to be definitive, or is it more fun for the audience to go back and revisit every moment, every Rhodey moment, and look at it with different lens now that they think, oh, he might have been a Skrull here or there, and make the decision for themselves, or it'll be answered in Armor Wars. Sure, maybe. I mean, I would really hope that Armor Wars would do that. The least Armor Wars could do is let us know, yo, Rhodey, what the hell you been doing? Especially if you have not been snapped. Like, what were you doing all this time? What happened to you? Did you get captured during the blip? Did you get, captured before the blip? Like, answer these questions, please. But according to the director, he's saying that it was Civil War. He's saying, as I mentioned before, the hospital gown, not being able to walk, that's when Rhodey got taken by the Skrulls. Possible. Now, this brings up the question. if it's true, let's just go with this for now, because I still don't think that that's definitive. I think that that might be what they were hinting at, but it could have been the case that maybe Rhodey was taken before that. I don't know. But if that was the case, it does make you look at, let's say, and I just posted this short on my channel. It makes you look at that scene from Avengers Endgame a little bit differently. Remember when Nebula was reaching in to grab the Power Stone and all that? And then she was like, you know what? I wasn't always this way. And what did Rhodey say? Yeah, neither was I. Now, at the time, we thought he was talking about being able to walk and that his legs were not all like that, right? And at the time, we made fun and said, ah ha ha, this is Rhodey making a joke about how he wasn't this way, referencing Terrence Howard. That's what we thought, right? And it made sense at that time based off of what we knew. But now that we know potentially that Rhodey has been a Skrull for some time, when Rhodey sits here and says, I too was not always like this.
I wasn't always like this.
Me either.
And when you look at what happened in Secret Invasion and how the Skrulls had this big concern about being in their own skin, it makes more sense that that was a Skrull talking. No, I was not always like a human. I used to be in my own skin. It makes more sense with that line of dialogue. Because again, why would he sit here and say, oh, well, you know, I wasn't always like this when it comes to the legs? I mean, okay, we get it, but it makes a little bit more sense if he was a Skrull, you know, but that's my opinion. But the other question here is, if Rhodey was a Skrull ever since, let's say, Civil War, or maybe even earlier, does it actually ruin his character? And there are some arguments to be made. There are. In this article, actually, it says here why Rhodey being replaced in Civil War ruins his character. It says here, regardless of when Rhodey was replaced, it sounds like he was already a Skrull towards the end of Infinity Saga. This has massive ramifications to not just his story, but Iron Man's as well, because it means that the real Rhodey has no idea that his best friend has already died. All right. So some people are under the impression that because Rhodey, the real Rhodey, did not experience Tony's death, that some way, shape, or form takes away from Rhodey's character. And I'm going to put the argument out there and say that's not necessarily true. And I'm going to prove it to you. Do y'all remember a little show on the MCU, Disney Plus, called Loki? Y'all remember Loki, right? And I'm sure y'all remember what happened in Infinity War. What happened? In Loki's show, we found out that our Loki, the Loki that we've known from the very beginning, died. And he died in a stupid way, in my opinion, getting choked out, trying to pull a dumb move on Thanos. Okay? So the real Loki died. But because of what happened in Avengers Endgame, we found out that Loki became a variant, right? A new variant of Loki came up. And guess what? That new variant of Loki is now our new Loki. Okay? Now, what did that afford us with the character? It basically said, yo, this long journey that the Loki we knew that he went down, that's done with. But we're going to go back to 2012 Loki with this variant. And what are we going to do? We're going to explore that Loki in a different direction. We're going to see that Loki experience things. We're going to see that Loki, react to things. And what happened in the Loki show? We saw this variant 2012 version of Loki watch a whole film of his life. He saw his mama die. He saw his daddy die. He saw all these things happen. And what happened? It let that man, Tom Hiddleston, cook as an actor. This was one of the scenes that literally put Loki on the map, because we got to see what our fan favorite version of Loki from 2012 go through in a short amount of time, but also create another path for him to take. Which, by the way, I like this new Loki. I like where he's going. What does this have to do with Don Cheadle and his version of Rhodey? Yes, this Rhodey, if he's been a Skrull since Civil War, has no idea about what happened to his friend Tony. But guess what? This is giving his character the opportunity to cook just as well in Armor Wars. So before y'all sit here and start saying, oh, this is trash, the MCU is garbage, wait until Armor Wars. I'm not promising nothing. I'm just saying there's an opportunity for Don Cheadle to show us what Rhodey does go through when he actually sees and learns all these things that happen. When he finds out about Thanos for the first time, what does he act like? What does he look like? When he finds out that Tony made the big sacrifice play, how is he going to feel about that? We have never really experienced Rhodey or his emotions or what goes on in his personal life until now. So I think that this creates a great opportunity for us to get a closer, in-depth look at what Rhodey actually thinks and how he feels about moments in the MCU that we never really got from him. What did y'all get? What do y'all think that y'all are missing? The last thing that we saw with Rhodey when it comes to Tony's death, my man was sitting there at his funeral. My man came up there, took a knee in front of him. That's it? For all the friendship that they've had, that's it? No, I want to see, I want to hear, I want to feel what they were going through. Give me that time to marinate with Rhodey's character. Let Don Cheadle, this fantastic actor, let this man have time to really explore this character that he's never had time to do. So in my opinion, does Rhodey being a Skrull ruin his character? Absolutely not. This gives us an opportunity to finally discover who the hell is Rhodey. How does he really feel? How does he really, like, what are we going to learn about him when he learns all the stuff that he missed? So I am actually okay with this whole Skrull reveal. I think it's going to give us an opportunity to see this character in a light that we have never had before. I feel like it's also going to give this character an opportunity to maybe build himself up in new, different ways. So I know that a lot of people don't like the fact that the rug was pulled from under them with the whole Skrull reveal with Rhodey. I totally understand that, but I'm trying to give Marvel a little bit of credit, that maybe y'all got some other opportunity, and I'm being very careful with my words. It's an opportunity to do something because they can still screw this up. It is possible that they can still mess this up. Armor Wars could be trash for all we know. But Armor Wars could also be another way to give us another Loki. We don't know. I trust Don Cheadle as an actor, but clearly good acting doesn't always save a show. But we'll just have to wait and see. All right. Anyway, that's my take on it. Y'all don't have to agree. Maybe y'all have different opinions. Whatever it is, y'all let me know. What did you think about the whole Skrull reveal with Skrody? Do you like it? Do you have a better time frame as to when you think Rhodey actually was converted into a Skrull? Do you think it ruins his character? Do you think that maybe this is a great opportunity for Armor Wars? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.